scholarship, also a freshman.
Freshman year.
Really nice kid. He was quiet as fuck. But he was like incredibly good at Rainbow.
Really?
Oh yeah, like top one of the, I can't remember what the rank was specifically. I know, but it was like in the top
The
2 or
quiet
3
kid was
of
good
the
at
highest
shooting
rank.
people? That's wild.
Yes. Well, I mean, he was there on scholarship. I don't think he would have shot anybody. Unless he's in Alabama. In which case, you're going to go help your teammates murder somebody and then get away with it.
Did that happen in Alabama?
Yeah. The Alabama kid that was an all-star on their basketball team, that when they went like to like the Elite Eight or whatever, he straight up was the getaway driver for some kids when they went and did a shoot and run or whatever. Drive by.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, but in Alabama, the laws for that are different. He's not considered an accomplice to murder. He is considered like with a bunch of other things, with like some other things. I mean, but it's not accomplice to murder, or it's not.
And so he's not considered like a murderer either.
Nope. Well, I mean, if like, because like for example, in Nebraska, if he did that, he would get charged with first-degree murder, along with all the rest of them. He would be considered to be like a murderer.
I mean,
because he was the getaway driver.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
but
in Alabama, it's not. It's like accessory and whatever. But the two guys in the back, the guy in the passenger seat, and the guy in the back seat, those two guys got murder.
So if you were just in the back seat, like, did the guy in the back seat shoot someone?
I don't know the exact thing with it. I know that the other two were both charged with it, and that both of them were shooting, but I don't know who was the one, like, if the one, or at least they both had guns or something like that.
That's so crazy that he just threw away the basketball scholarship like that.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Well, they kept him on the team?
He still plays for them. No NBA team picked him up when he's eligible for the draft, but I mean...
Yeah, I feel like the NBA has enough scandals. All right. So, I want to talk about what I have on the screen. Can you guys watch my stream? Can you see it?
Wait, shit, have we been podcasting this whole time?
No, not the whole time. I started it with your basketball story.
Oh.
Sorry, maybe I should let people know. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna add allegedly to the end of all of that.
Are you implicated in that?
No, but it's just better to be right than wrong.
I guess so.
Allegedly.
All right, so yeah, I have it up. So I found this on the internet. I've been watching like this YouTuber called Serpent ZA. Have you guys heard of him?
Another podcast.
It does. Oh yeah, I guess you could consider the China Show like a podcast. But yeah, he brought up like this thing like called Confucius AI, which is like China like bringing Confucius back from the dead to ask him questions.
What
does that mean?
Speak right by China. Or less accurately, speak the China truth.
Speak the China truth. Yes, so that's what Confucius is gonna do. I saw this video and I thought it was fucking hilarious, and I wanted to get your guys' opinions. Have you guys seen this video yet?
Negative.
All right, let's roll it. Oh wait, I don't have the sound on.
I can hear you, my child. Modern technology and social media, like all tools, are neither inherently good nor bad. It is how they are used that determines their value. Is it not a pleasure, having learned something, to try it out at due intervals? Is it not a joy to have friends come from afar? Technology provides an avenue for continuous learning and the joy of connecting with friends from distant places.
Really?
However, one must also be cautious. The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. In the age of social media, where words are plentiful, it's essential to ensure that our actions align with our words and that we do not become consumed by the desire for recognition or validation. Balance and moderation are key. Every day I examine myself once and again. One should also reflect upon their use of technology and social media, ensuring it serves as a tool for growth and connection rather than distraction or vanity.
So, what do you guys think?
I have like a few things to say
I have
about
a few
that.
questions.
And it's like you can teach an AI all of Confucius's like studies, all of his like writings, like you can teach it all of that. But that'll never mean that Confucius was in the era of technology. That'll never mean that he was there with a smartphone and he could adapt to what he was thinking and say that specifically. So this whole idea is just so stupid. This is like the whole thing of like AI is going to take over, because what the fuck? If we're going to start taking the advice of this AI that has a random idea of Confucius, and also everything he said was just like, be good, but don't be stupid. Like, he wasn't even saying anything.
Well, my big thing was as well, like, because he said, like, oh, technology is good. I'm like, I have a feeling, I thought it was the consensus that Confucius would be one of those ones that would be against, like, the modern.
Oh, 100%. This is where that's, yeah, he would have been against it.
He would have been against technology?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
I think Confucius's ideals were a bit more in the Buddhist sense. Like, he wanted to be a little bit outside of the technical aspect. He was trying to do stuff in a way that was more spiritual. He wanted to do stuff more humanly body. He didn't want to do stuff that was outside of that.
Then why would he invent chopsticks?
Because they are a massive help.
Because they're what?
There's a difference between chopsticks and a smartphone.
No, I understand the question though.
No, I do too.
Rather than using your hands, I guess inventing chopsticks as the simplest form of decency.
Well, like, you know why we have chopsticks, right? Like, what is?
Describe it to me.
So the whole idea behind chopsticks was that, you know, there should be no knives at a dinner table.
Oh yeah.
So that things could be chopped up before, right? And served to the table, right? But then you need a way to eat the stuff at the table without anything pokey like a fork. So how do you do it? You like squeeze things. Isn't that innovation or invention? You know, like you've innovated, you've reshaped the whole way the world works, you know.
Yeah, but
to not have pointy stuff at the table.
Wouldn't say entirely. That is basically an extension of your fingers, but yes, it is a progression.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say there's still a difference between progression and what like Dylan and I are referring to.
Right.
And the worst thing is there's like no feasible way that anyone from his time could realistically comprehend the technology and the stuff that we can do today.
Comprehend that idea, and that's exactly. And if Confucius were here today, living in our world, he'd probably be a fucking influencer.
He'd be an influencer or a cult leader.
Well, he'd probably be killed.
Oh, well,
in
China, yeah. Because, well, yeah.
Oh, this man has a free
true.
thought? No.
Or maybe he would maybe he would be the Falun Gong.
Actually, nah. Confucius might just be the head of the CCP if he was around today.
You think so? He'd be like Xi Jinping.
I think if you're going into like truly, if he wasn't around back then he was here.
Well,
today,
I don't know if you saw it, Matt, but they're claiming that the AI Confucius was part of Xi Jinping's idea.
Oh, the Xi Jinping thought?
Yeah, to make China sound right, or 正好中国故事, do right by China.
I see. Like do right by like Chinese culture.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
But yeah, because
that's a Xi Jinping campaign.
Interesting.
No, it's a Winnie the Pooh campaign.
Oh, I didn't know Winnie the Pooh spoke Chinese.
He does actually.
Well, he does in the South Park episode.
I
guess he does in China too.
In the dubbed episodes, yeah. Should we watch one more of these? Do you guys want to see another one?
Is there another AI Confucius?
Hello, Confucius. Hannah get to ask you, when people fail to practice the norm, do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself. What can I do?
I hear you, my child. It is not the failures of others to appreciate your abilities that should trouble you, but rather your failure to appreciate theirs.
How to understand this?
When we feel that others are not treating us as we would like to be treated, it can be helpful to try to understand the circumstances they are in. For example, it might be because they are under a lot of stress. In such cases, it can be more productive to show empathy and understanding rather than responding with anger or resentment. Moreover, it's also about appreciating the diversity of human experiences and values. But a gentleman who lacks gravity does not inspire awe. Do not accept as friend anyone who is not as good as you. If this person indeed has moral issues, then people of different principles do not seek common ground.
Great answer. Thank you so much, Confucius. See you next time.
So,
What the
That's-
fuck?
Dude, it's the answers are so morally ambiguous. It's like, you asked me to be nice. Here we go. I'm gonna be nice. Like, I'm gonna tell you, treat people how you want to be treated. Also, don't do wrong by people you don't want to be wronged by. Like, he's just saying the things that parents tell their children.
People with different consciousnesses will have different values. Yes.
It's just this isn't the first AI Confucius, because it doesn't think the way that he was thinking. It is just giving you standard answers based on its belief of morals.
My literal thought was that it seems like it's pulling directly from like a help website database or something, but it doesn't understand exactly what it's pulling from.
Well, something that I saw is that this is probably part of the Chinese campaign with Xi Jinping. Like I mentioned that earlier. This is probably part of his campaign, because it's all, if you look at all the people that are posting these videos, a lot of them are the same girl, but also a lot of them are modeled to look exactly like her, and it's modeling it to be based on this Xi Jinping campaign, the perfect people listening to the perfect ideals and then responding to it.
so what do you mean? Like,
Hey, it's
like
not the same girl.
Yeah, that's
I
kind
can
of
see
I
the
know
difference.
I know it's
I
not the
can
same
see
girl.
difference.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's modeled after this. It's modeled after one person.
No, I get that. I
And
get
is that to trick Westerners into thinking it's the same girl?
Is that a trick question into racism? No.
Oh, okay. So wait, why do they want them to all look the same though?
Because he's trying to make this campaign about how he looks better than he is. He's trying to indoctrinate the fact that, like, hey, like, I'm sitting here, I'm gonna, like, because you know how China controls media.
Yeah.
This is something that they're letting their media see. So it's very obviously controlled by their news system. You can see that AI Confucius all over their news as well.
You
Oh
get-
yeah, it's all over their stuff.
Ah,
It's very much being indoctrinated into people's heads, and they're just trying to kind of force it on people. It's not being like, oh my god, this is like a new wave that we can listen to. It's just like some stupid shit that this guy's trying to distract people with while he does whatever the fuck he wants.
you know what I wonder? Like, if it like is some sort of like language model of some sort, it can technically kind of put out anything. How do they make sure that it doesn't put out the wrong thing?
I don't think it. I
You
very
just-
much
You
feel
re-rolled
like
AI quote. Like, if you used ChatGPT before, you just ask it to.
you basically just ask the same question again, and it will sometimes give you a new one.
It'll just give you a different answer
I
Yeah.
see. So they're just
until you like what
re-rolling.
you got. Yeah.
Like, is there any way to use like AI Confucius, or is it just the videos?
It's just you taught ChatGPT to learn Confucius. There's like nothing special. AI Confucius is not a thing.
Ah.
They just taught an AI Confucius's readings and are claiming that it's AI Confucius.
I don't even think it's that.
I don't even think it's that either. I think they just taught an AI morals.
Which
don't even
language
think-
model do you think they're using?
I don't
That's interesting. I would say they're probably using English.
Oh, I
especially 'cause
meant
all these videos.
like ChatGPT.
Oh. I don't know enough about all the AI systems. There's so many of them, it's ridiculous.
Well, it's so
but-
many. There's so many different learning and programming methods and stuff for those things.
They might have their own. Like, they may very well just have their
Well,
own.
considering they don't have access to like advanced chips, and especially like
That's common
very-
population. No, that doesn't mean that their government system doesn't.
Well, I mean, like the largest AI computers in the world, some of which are run by governments, are all run off like NVIDIA Quattros or
I'm
whatever, like deep
sure.
chips specifically designed for deep learning and AI simulation.
I'm sure that someone in China has that.
Oh,
have
100%.
to. Yeah.
Probably.
Like I know Taiwan makes the
They're
chips.
they're not
but-
going to set themselves back that far just because they're stubborn.
Yeah, no way. But yeah, that shit was kind of funny. Like, I think the funniest thing was the voice that they chose.
Oh, the voice.
Oh, the voice they
Just
chose
like-
doesn't help.
I think it's intentional because because you can
It's probably
see
something
the
supposed to
you can
catch
see
your
the
ears.
Chinese translations on the bottom, so it's supposed to like catch your eye, both for them and for us. Because the more attention we give it, the more attention it gets over there.
What do you mean? Like the more views it gets, like then they could say like, oh, this got this many views in the
Mhm.
West on this
And then they're
platform
gonna allow it on their internet.
You
Yeah.
don't think they've already allowed it?
Oh no, it's definitely already on their internet.
I think it's on and off. I think it's.
I
think it does depend because I do fully believe this is part of a campaign.
No, 100%.
probably.
I think they're choosing the videos that are specifically popular to show the people that live there.
So you think they're like test running it on us?
Oh yeah.
But why would they
Probably.
just pick the ones that are most popular with us? Like the ones that resonate with us aren't necessarily going to resonate with them.
I think it's because the Chinese community kind of has begun to emanate American culture in the sense that they want to move towards something that's more industrial, something that's more free. But right now they're sitting under something that's a little bit more what's the word? Totalitarian? Is that the word?
Totalitarian.
Where they're just being ruled and don't get to decide for themselves.
I mean,
Totalitarian.
Totalitarian, that's the word.
do you think Chinese people want to move in that direction, or do you think that the Chinese government's just trying to project?
I think the people
Themselves in that
themselves
way.
would never say it. I'm sure they would want to.
I mean, I guess anyone would
I
want
mean-
to.
I
But
mean,
do you
yeah,
think they actually
anyone
are
would
going to
want
make it like enough of an effort that China would care?
No, dude. If you know anything about Xi Jinping, you know he's never going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So why would they? Why would the government care about projecting that?
Because the government's trying
Internally.
to influence them in a way that makes them seem that they have to look at these in the right way, treat your neighbors correctly. You know, they're trying to take these ideals that are like, hey, be nice to your neighbor. Hey, be morally correct. Hey, don't like say wrong things to people or like that kind of bullshit. And they're just gonna take these simple ones, not the other ones that the Confucius AI is saying, and make those the idea and propose those as Confucius sayings.
Yeah, makes
Because
sense.
they're trying to claim this as the world's first AI Confucius, which is just not.
Yeah, it's very legitimately not.
Fair enough. You know what do you think Confucius would say about this? About AI Confucius?
生本当时中文。
Translation.
China's a fag.
Whoa. That's a little bit homophobic. Confucius. You want to dial it back
Well,
there?
this is going to be Dylan's last podcast episode, not some choice.
Well, that's not Dylan's
Man's just
fault.
gonna
That's
die.
Confucius's fault. Confucius said that, not Dylan.
Yeah, that was a quote from Confucius.
Rude.
AI just read it off.
I mean, Confucius, we get that you're coming from a different time. All right? Like, I know that homosexuality, maybe was looked a little bit more down upon in your time, but nowadays, you kind of got to dial that back. Okay?
Yeah, he does.
He does. Any other thoughts, Confucius? Thoughts on that?
这是中文吗?
And what does that mean?
I'm just asking if you do Chinese.
I don't. Why do you think I keep asking for a translator, Confucius? You think I know Chinese? Nobody knows Chinese right now, Confucius, except for Dylan.
Nobody knows Chinese now.
Nobody. All right, so let me see. Let me move on to the next thing. Oh yeah.
I want to talk. Okay, the Trump mugshot.
It's beautiful.
Okay. I want to talk about, first of all, how good his hair looks.
It does look pretty good. It looks better.
It does. It looks really good. It looks a lot better than when he was in office. His hair looks good.
I think he's been hitting the Rogaine.
It looks like a mob mugshot.
Oh no, it's 100% a toupee, but he did it well. It looks good. You can't tell.
It looks like a mob
And
mugshot.
It works with his Cheeto phase. What I'm more curious about, and I was trying to figure it out. Why was he? I mean, so he was brought up in Atlanta, Georgia, with this group of people because they were. What was it? They were trying to keep votes from getting to office. Is that what it was?
Is that?
That's what I read.
Hold on, let's see.
It sounds like they're very late about it.
Because that was a long time ago, right?
Yeah, no, but these photos came out 2024 or 2023, August 2023, the 24th. Oh my God, no, he didn't.
Where is Fulton County?
Yeah, so
Is that Georgia? Fulton County, Georgia?
yeah, Fulton County. It's in Atlanta. For racketeering and conspiracy in relation to his effort to overturn the 2020 election.
So, they hit him with RICO?
Yeah. But also, I think this is ignoring the fact that Hillary did the same thing.
Yeah, but that's different. She's a Democrat. It's okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess
it's like you say, the law is weaponized. The FBI got weaponized. All that shit got weaponized.
He's also orange.
Well, my favorite thing about this is that this is 3 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, he's no longer in office. He's no longer immune. Let's come for him now.
No, they're coming for him now so he can't get fucking elected. They're trying to mess up his campaign tour trying to mess up his thing because they're afraid he'll win.
Which honestly,
I mean, I know people that voted for Biden that said they're not fucking doing that again.
Which makes me almost think that
Biden is a fucking idiot.
Which almost makes me think that isn't the point, just because obviously that's going to be the reaction to this.
There was an intention behind this, and it makes me wonder why 3 years later this happened. I can't help but imagine that he wanted it.
Yeah, right. He told the FBI, just arrest me in 3 years, and then it makes him look good. Maybe it's an inside job on his part.
It doesn't make him look good, but it turns the spotlight on him again.
Yeah, because remember, he won 2016 because he basically went in with the thing of any press is good press. Like, even though they spent billions of dollars on those campaigns, he very much went into it thinking like,
Doesn't matter what people say. It's just good press.
exactly.
But it also does kind of make him look good, especially to his base, because this 100% solidifies his outsider status.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
He's still
Well,
just
he
a
is.
person.
He is an outsider.
He is, but like you could debate whether or not he was before. I mean, he was a billionaire. He
definitely
was
was
well connected.
But he was not a. But he was not a. He's not just a he wasn't a politician though.
He wasn't a politician, but he was in
That's
all the same
difference.
circles that the politicians were.
Oh yeah,
He's
but he
been
was a
very
Democrat.
big on the
Yeah, but he was
claim that Donald
he was
Trump
a
is the
Democrat.
first ever president to have a mugshot. I don't think that's true.
No, that's not true. What's the guy's name? The guy not Andrew Johnson. He not him. One of the guys after the Civil War. I can't think of a specific name, but he had the most scandals of like any president in history, and I'm pretty sure he got arrested after he was out of office.
Did he? What for?
Fucking, I don't know. I can't think of it. Who was?
He was a serial killer.
No, it wasn't that. It was like he was always drunk at He was like always drunk, and he had a bunch of things, a bunch of women and stuff like that, which back then was.
Damn, I could never be a president then.
Well, I mean, could be JFK. I mean, I would. But JFK, just getting Marilyn Monroe the whole time.
Have you guys seen all these?
Yeah, I've seen all. Of course, we have.
Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of those memes. Reddit was pretty fun for a couple days.
It was. People got really, really quick to making these things.
Well, here's the thing. The nice thing with Reddit when it comes to memes like this and stuff like that is, like, half of them aren't even political shit. It's just literally just let's make a joke with the shit, like that.
Yeah, but
Like
Reddit
just stuff
was...
like that where it's just funny. But I mean, there's not political comments under everything.
Well, yeah,
on
because
Reddit.
everybody agrees on Reddit.
Well, everyone agrees it's funny. If you want to take something serious and be really stupidly political and stuff, go to Twitter or whatever the fuck. That's where all the politics is. If you want to just shit post and have fun, go to Reddit.
I feel like Reddit does take their politics seriously, though.
They do, but on the right subreddits. You go on some of the other ones, and it's literally just shit posting on both sides.
What do you mean on the right subreddits? Like the right wing?
There's a million of them. You just go on like any subreddit that's
if
not
you can go on-
specifically political, and it's just jokes about
Well,
this
you
kind
can,
of shit.
you can go on one subreddit, and it'll be like a super serious one that will post, leaks or news or accusations about whatever. And then you can go on others that is just straight shit posting images of Pelosi, and then the one right below that is a shit posted image of what's the guy's name from Florida? I can't think of his name.
DeSantis?
Or like, yeah, and like they're just shitting on both sides for the sake of having fun, and the comments beneath it are not even super political either.
Huh. Maybe we could check out some posts.
I don't
recommend
know.
that.
What?
Yeah.
I don't recommend
Oh,
that.
you don't
Yeah,
recommend that?
probably.
Okay.
Opening Reddit, no.
Okay.
Not on a podcast. Not on a podcast.
Not on a podcast. Honestly, yeah, no. You ever see those YouTube videos where it's just like, it's just an AI voice reading Reddit?
Mm-hmm.
Can't stand those things. Like, I try to watch them.
I get annoyed by them every once in a while when I just scroll through the shorts and an interesting one pops up. I'll just go, oh, and I'll find the actual Reddit link and then read it.
Yeah,
But I
that's a
won't
lot better.
watch the video.
Watching the video is like painful because they read at like the wrong pace for me. Also,
They read too slow,
They do. They read way
and
too
the
slow.
voice is annoying.
It's so fucking annoying. And it's never what I want. I've been trying to find like good cringe compilations again, and I can't find them. Like, it's all just like Reddit cringe, blah blah blah, and it's like there's a billion of those fucking things, and I can't sit through them.
Fair enough.
But yeah, what do you think will happen? Do you think he's going to jail?
No.
No.
No, you think it's just
He's
a
got
dog
too much
and
money
pony show?
for that. Yeah.
He'll get.
I think it was
If he
staged.
gets convicted, then he still won't go to jail. He'll get something stupid like house arrest or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He has too much money.
Yeah, and if he gets found not guilty, then obviously not. Hell, the charges might even just get dropped against him.
Mm-hmm.
It'll honestly be so dope if he's put like under house arrest, but then wins.
He probably
He can't. He can't. If he gets found guilty, he can't run, because you can't be a president and have a felony against you.
Is that true?
Yeah. You can't be a felon.
I'm pretty sure you can.
No. You can't own a gun. You can't go into the military. You can't do stuff like that.
I mean, George Washington owned a gun.
Yeah, you can own
What?
a gun.
Not if you're a felon.
If you're a felon.
As a felon.
Can Trump,
as a felon.
Yeah, can Trump run for president from prison? Yes, and it's been done before.
No, look up for the requirements for president. Are you allowed to have felony? Are you allowed to have, like...
Are you allowed to run for president as...
Are you allowed to run for president and win? Was a great autocorrect.
Are you allowed to win? No.
No, you're not allowed. Well, are you from one of the big two parties? No.
What the fuck is this? Cracker Barrel.
Trump all day, dude. Cracker Barrel is just like
there's not even
looking out for us right now.
There's not even a Cracker Barrel nearby us.
Near us, no, yeah, no.
Why are they advertising to me? The Constitution has very few requirements to serve as president, such as being at least 35 years of age. It does not bar anyone indicted, convicted, or even serving jail term from running for the presidency. So yeah, I think he's good. That's so funny though that you can't get a job as a felon, but you could probably get.
You can run for president. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm gonna go kill like 300 people.
And then run for president.
The worst one I still think is if you get dishonorably discharged from the military and then your life is just fucked. And there's some stuff where it's like, oh, you can get dishonorably discharged and you barely did anything wrong.
And still run for president.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so sick.
Some of the dishonorable discharge stuff is pretty fucking stupid.
Like what?
What?
Like you
you basically can't get a job like anywhere.
Really?
Like anywhere decent. Like you could spend 10 years, say you're in the army, and you specialize.
It's like worse than having a felon, or worse than being a felon.
It's way worse. Because like you say, say you're in the army 10 years, your primary stuff was in communications and stuff like that. Like you worked on radios or you did communications for different hubs and bases and stuff. If you normally, I did 10 years of military, I leave the military, I'm going to go private sector, you would make a shit ton of money.
Mm.
If you get dishonorably discharged after those 10 years, you won't be able to get a job at anywhere except for like a Home Depot, McDonald's, stuff like that.
How would
very
they know,
basic, shitty job. Because it goes on your record.
What record? Like
a criminal record. If you get dishonorably discharged, it comes. Yeah, it follows. Yeah.
Damn, that sucks. Like, what can you get dishonorably discharged for?
I know it's what is it? Desertion. If you ignore a lot of orders and basically if you ignore like a ton of orders, you'll get it for insubordination, but you have to do a lot. What is it? If you do stupid, I've heard stories of guys like where they've been out in like Ramstein in Germany, and they went out for a weekend, got wasted, and did a bunch of really stupid shit, and then try to come back. You can get kicked out for conduct unbecoming an officer or something like that.
Oh, that's
the official terms.
So you just get blasted, and that's it. Just get really drunk one weekend, and it's over.
Well, no, it's not like that. It's like you get really drunk
you're
weekend, and you go out and you bang,
representing the army, like
and you go out and you bang 10 girls, and you do all this other stuff, and then you crash your car, or you take the girls onto base and bang them, and then you crash the car, or do stupid like shit like that. Like it's where you got drunk and then did a lot of stupid shit. Got like assaulted someone.
Like sullying the army's name.
I see.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that was like what the army did anyway.
Sully
No.
their own name.
Yeah. Well, no, not solely the name, but go get coked up and bang a bunch of whores.
In moderation.
Army,
Moderate. You have to be moderate about it.
the bads of each branch. The Army has the most alcoholics. The Marines statistically have the most amount of domestic abuse cases.
Of course they do.
The Air Force is full of stoners. And the Navy is like number one in vapes and nicotine and chew and stuff like that.
That's the lamest
Because
one.
it's allowed.
Oh, it is? It's not allowed in the
can't-
other one?
Wow.
You can't have cigarettes on ship because it's an open flame, but a vape doesn't have a flame.
That's interesting.
The very basics ones. You can't have like mods and stuff, like the big mods.
Yeah.
You can have small little ones. It's perfectly allowed.
That's why they banned jewels from America, so that all the fucking navies could take all
Oh,
the jewels.
probably. It's the fucking Navy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I can't believe the Navy commandeered all of our jewels.
What is
Those
it?
faggots.
Yeah.
What's some of
they
the
fucked me up.
other weird stats? Oh yeah, the Marines, which has the toughest boot camps, and you'd think they'd have the most dropouts. No, the Army does.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah. If
What?
it's
Do
strictly
you know why, or?
not exactly. I don't know the reason why. I just know if you looked up in 2021 and 2022, the Army had the most.
You know what?
Yeah, the Army was the biggest.
They had the most by a lot by number, but that's just because they're the largest when it comes to that.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot more people.
But the percentage was higher.
You know what? I have a theory.
I do too.
Is it a game theory?
It is a game theory. Kind of.
Let's hear it.
Alright, so all those kids who were like super obsessed with like Call of Duty and Airsoft and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and were dead set on being in the military when they grew up? What branch did they always talk about joining?
Army or Navy?
I feel like it was mostly Army.
Really? I heard mostly Marines.
It'd be Army. It'd be Army because they would want to be infantry. It would be Navy because they would want to Army if they wanted to go entry. Navy because they wanted to go SEALs.
Yeah, Navy for SEALs.
Or Marines because they wanted to go Spec Ops afterwards.
I
those
thought it
were
was
the big three that they
mostly
won.
Marine Corps, just because in Modern Warfare 2 you got to play as the Marine Corps. That was a game they really liked.
I mean, I know a friend that tried to go through SEALs, and he said it was the worst shit of his life. The kid from my high school was a year behind me. Well done. No, he was my year.
Oh yeah, they make you do like crazy shit for SEALs, don't they?
I can only imagine that's hell.
He did like everything. He went through the Navy, like he enlisted and then did his college online and stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, the boot camp for the Navy wasn't that bad. And then he was down there. I know he made it past Hell Week, but then gave like it was like a week later or something, or I think it was Hell Week that got him.
So he made it all the way up to Hell Week?
Yeah. But Hell Week's only like week 4 or something. Hell Week's pretty early.
Oh, okay. And then like, how many weeks do you have after that?
Probably like 10. I don't know the specifics. I'll look it up.
So what do they make you do on Hell Week exactly? That's the one where you like have to like submerge yourself underwater with like the gear, right? And no oxygen mask.
No boot camp.
Drop you like 10 miles from shore and make
How long
you
does
swim back
Buds?
in.
Jesus, Buds training length. That's what I was looking for. 6 months.
Oh wow, whole 6 months. But it's all easier after Hell Week. You know what? That makes sense that they do it
From what-
earlier on.
From what this stuff says online, because there's not a ton about it. There's not a ton of specifics. Like, it's Hell Week, stuff like that. But after that, like the start of it is all about physicality, making sure you can push through it, and then pretty much after Hell Week, it kind of starts to change, and you're doing more classes and stuff.
I see. That makes sense, honestly. Like, weed out who can do it and who can't.
Yeah, it's a 5. So Hell Week specifically, where how far is it into? So it's the 3rd week of training.
Third
Yeah.
week. What do you think?
On average, it's a 3rd week of training. It's a 5-day stretch. Each candidate will run more than 200 miles, and each sleeps only for a total of 4 hours the entire time.
Wow, the whole week?
Yeah, they'll wake up in the morning, they'll do stuff on the beach, they'll do boat carries, body carries.
That sounds like
Yeah.
fun.
You're doing surf passes with your boats in and out of the surf, so paddling them out, paddling back to them, putting them on your head, running down the beach with them. We have races, and it pays to be the winner. If your boat crew wins, you get to sit down for 10 minutes. And if you don't win, you have to do another lap.
Jesus Christ.
How long is the lap?
I have no clue. It doesn't specify. Towards the end of Hell Week, candidates face
couple
what's called
miles.
the demo pit. The demo pit. They pump a fenced-in area full of water and have these ropes across. You're supposed to try an overhand rope climb. The instructors are yanking and throwing on those ropes, so it's literally impossible to get across. They're throwing smoke grenades and other stuff into the water to distract you, and it's a muddy mess. That's on your last day.
Is that why they all look like this in this photo?
Probably. Although my favorite thing I saw with it was a quote from from one guy online, I can't think of his name, who completely was like, oh yeah, the nicest thing ever is the 20-hour, was it like 20 hours or 21-hour break you get afterwards. So it's cool. You can have 5 days no sleep. You sleep the whole time, and then you're right up and back at it.
Jesus Christ. No,
Oh yeah,
I could never do that shit. Not in my life. I think
could never.
I feel like even if I trained like enough to get like to the point where they were before Hell Week, I still couldn't do that shit.
Lucas and I know 2 guys that went Spec Ops for Air Force.
Does it have like a similar process?
So the Air Force has they go directly and work with the Spec Ops of Army Rangers and SEALs. So, but their program is different. So instead of, you're building teams of 15 guys, they're building 3 guys that can join in these other teams, and they're the ones that will coordinate the air and ground movement. So a SEAL team will get put out to attack a target in Afghanistan, and they'll have an Air Force Spec Ops guy with them. They'll be coordinating. Oh, we have F-22s coming to bomb it, or we have an F-15 strike on the way, or Apaches are incoming, like stuff like that. Pointing out targets for an AC-130 that's at 10,000 feet to blow up for them, stuff like that.
Okay. So it's like less physical, more technical.
No, it's still just as physical.
Just as physical.
Those couple guys from ROTC that I knew were fucking beefcakes.
Makes sense. Yeah, speaking of physical health, you guys think the lockdowns are coming back?
Okay.
Because
I've a lot of my friends have just recently gotten COVID. I went into the doctor today, literally this morning, to get a drug test done, and 2 people right behind me were like, "Yeah, I think I have COVID." And I was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Right? I've been hearing like a lot of stuff like come up, like
It's
not
it's
just
it's
online.
it's resurged. Like it's not done.
It's not over.
Of course,
it's
it never
not
went.
done.
It
It's
never.
not over.
It never really went away. But
But I don't think they're gonna come back because we know how to handle it now.
But how
not-
did
I
we
don't think
handle it
the-
last
sure,
time?
I'm not sure if that's the right answer though, because this is a full virus. It's adapting.
Yeah, but we are adapting too with it. Once we have the first vaccine done, it becomes a lot easier after that. But I also don't think it's going to happen because
I had my double vaccine when I first got it.
I had the double vaccine, and like physically hurt for a while afterwards.
I still
Yeah.
only had one shot.
I had my double vaccine, and then I was fine for a few months, and then I got it.
It sent my grandma to the fucking hospital.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like
I don't think they're gonna come back. I think what you'll see is there might be some of the stuff put in, like some of the limits put in place where oh, like you can still go to everywhere, but there's gonna be a limited capacity in the buildings now again.
word.
If it gets bad.
That's a good thought. Yeah.
And like stuff or indoor mask mandates again, but I don't think we're gonna go into full lockdowns. It was like that was very much a thing of what we would do after 2 weeks. So let's try that makes sense. But now since we know how to handle it a lot better. We learned how to handle it a lot better, so there's not this real uber need to have to worry about all the extra stuff, basically.
I'm not looking forward to masks coming back if they do.
That's for the fucking worst.
They were fucking terrible.
I would wear them, but I hated it so much.
Oh man, me too. I mean, like at first, I kind of was into the idea because, I just a year or so before I like went to Tokyo and came back, and I thought I saw like some of the fashion shit they did with it, and I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, also in Tokyo, they kind of wear the masks because the air quality is terrible.
They also just wear it. They wear it for like health reasons, because of the cold, like colds and flus. Like if they have a cold, they wear the mask so that they don't sneeze on other people. Like it's been that way since like a pandemic, a while before, and for the air quality too, from China. But
yeah.
But they do use it for a similar reason as for COVID, like before COVID. But I saw that shit and I thought it was like kind of cool, and I was a little bit like excited about the idea of like, maybe like being able to try that shit out without looking weird here. But then it just went on forever, and you had to have the mask on everywhere you go.
I was lucky out here. So, Iowa? In Iowa, it was at Iowa State.
Rural country's got it easy.
Yeah, in Iowa State, it went full mask mandate, but that was pretty much it. In Omaha specifically, it was masks were required indoors but not outdoors, and we never locked down because the governor and the mayor both came out saying if we get more than, I can't remember what the number was, but it was X amount of cases, then we will. And we never hit that number.
Oh, really?
No, we got, what was it? We got close at its peak, but we never hit the number, so they just never shut it down. So it was pretty nice. A lot of places, unfortunately, like closed the indoor stuff. For example, like Target, you could only order online and pick it up or have it delivered. Stuff like that, but other than that, and restaurants were only takeout, but other than that, it was like pretty normal.
Yeah, by here it was like everything was gone. In fact, actually during the pandemic, I did a road trip across the country. I actually stopped in Omaha during the trip.
Okay.
I went to some restaurant, I forget which. It was, that one street that like has like the brick road?
Downtown to Old Market?
Yeah, Old Market.
I know that area.
Down there. That's where I stopped by when I was in
There's
Omaha.
a bunch of really good restaurants down there.
Yeah, the food was really good. Like really, really
Oh yeah,
good.
the stuff down there is pretty good.
That's where Warren Buffett lives, right?
Yeah, he lives actually in a regular neighborhood.
Really? He doesn't
Yeah,
live
he
in
lives
some
in,
giant big mansion?
No. He lives in, it's a nice neighborhood, but it's not like some $20 million mega mansion. I've seen his plane a bunch.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you really don't need something that big.
Mm-hmm.
It flies where?
It flies out of Ebley. He has a private jet, and I've seen it. Like you see it every once in a while, especially just me, just because I hang out at the airports a lot, being a pilot. So
Fair enough.
every once in a while, I'll be flying my tiny little dinky plane. I'm like, I'm going to do some tower landings, and I'll land down there. And it hasn't happened to me personally, but I've heard other people where it's straight up in Buffett's plane, where they were doing little landings in a Cessna, or taxiing around at Epley in a Cessna, and then there's just Buffett's jet
That's so fucking
that's just
cool.
out in front of them, and they're like, that's pretty fucking cool.
That is really fucking cool. But, oh, yeah. But yeah, driving across the country during the pandemic was so fucking strange. It was so cool.
We got, what was it? We didn't do a family vacation in 2019 because we had one planned for like June of 2020. No, we had one planned for like March. We had kind of done one. My family and I went down to Florida and ran a half marathon in January of 2020 before everything shut down.
Oh, yeah?
So that one was fun. The only but we got lucky. We right when they started lifting all the stuff, like in June or July, when they started opening stuff back up, my parents went, fuck it, we're getting all these discounts and stuff. You want to go down to Disney World? And we're like, why the fuck not? So we went. We were there the first week it opened, which was really nice.
Was it
That's-
packed? Or was it still pretty empty? It was still pretty empty.
The
right?
parks were, so when we got there when it opened, the parks were at 20% capacity.
Wow.
So, and for those parks, which, you know, they're 100 acres each, 50 acres each, it felt empty. I've been down there a couple times before, and the previous time, like we were down there when the NBA was down there, when the NBA like restarted their thing in the middle of the summer to try and just finish the season. That's when we were down there, but like the Main Street example in the main one, Magic Kingdom or whatever. Normally it's when you do pictures there, it's you just try to find a little gap in the crowd so you can like see the castle in the background. When we were there, it was you stood still for 20 seconds and then you didn't see anyone on the street besides you and the camera guy.
That's so cool.
Every ride was walk on. Every restaurant was pretty much like, oh, you want a reservation? Cool, it's open. Like you don't need one walk in for the nice ones. Like it was the best vacation I've ever had down there, hands down.
Yeah, honestly, like, same here. Like, I was able to check some things off, like, my bucket list. Like, I was able to find street parking in Times Square. And
How
then
the fuck did you do that?
it was...
Really?
Yeah,
How?
it
That
was,
is insane.
Was it 3 a.m.?
It was late, but it wasn't that late. The city was just... I mean, I'm not sure if you guys know, but, like, New York, during the pandemic, so many
They
people
got
just
fucked.
left. Like,
A lot of people left and a lot of people just got fucked
yeah.
with some of the stuff that what's the dumbass mayor's name did. Like he said some really stupid shit.
But yeah, the place was fucking empty. Like, when I was in Times Square, you could, like, yell and you could hear your voice echo off the buildings because
Oh my
there
god,
was,
that'd
like,
be trippy.
there was that few people on the street. You could, like, yeah, like somebody, like, across Times Square. Like, there was another couple. I could hear their conversation. I
What
could
the-
make out.
I can say it was
exactly
like
what they
it
were
was like
saying.
that down
It
at
was
Disney.
that quiet, yeah.
It was like that down at Disney.
It was that
I just-
quiet.
I just remembered the thing that. So we brought my grandma down there on that trip because we're like, fuck it, why not? She wanted to come. She wanted to get out of the house, and she had never been down there. And she's like, I want to ride as much as I can. And we spent a day. And normally at like those parks down there, it's you can get 5 rides in, 6 rides in. Like it depends. If it's a slow day, you could do most. I'd say like 60% or 50%. And if it's a busy day, you're getting 5 rides tops in because the lines are long. We literally went a day. We're like, we're just gonna ride a bunch because she wants to ride like everything that she possibly could. She's 9 at the time. She was 91, by the way. Didn't need a cane or anything. She's a fucking tank trooper. And we did every single ride in the Magic Kingdom park in one day.
That's
Which
not that hard.
have you been to the Florida parks?
Yep.
This
I
was
lived
also
there.
in July.
I lived there for half my life.
That's fair. I have never been. I've been down there 4 or 5, probably 5 times. I've never been able to come close to that.
Now, the line
It
for
was
the
literally
worst part.
walk on. It was literally walk on everything. It was insanity.
It's basically like getting a free like what's that like pass
Fast
called
pass.
for Disney? No, not even like fast pass. There's like because with fast pass you'd still have to wait a decent amount of time to get to the front of the line. Especially because like with fast pass, don't you need to like do a regular line or something in between each
No.
fast pass ride?
So fast pass, you book 3 a day or whatever. It's like you book it. No, now you buy it. You buy it online.
No, that is never how it's worked. Fast
No,
passes
that's
still
literally how it
online.
works now. Now it's
Yeah, they
lightning lane.
changed it.
No, I know it's not because one, my dad basically built Disney. Two, I go there like 3 times every year.
Still?
Is it world or
It-
land?
I don't go to Florida anymore. So I live in California.
That's fair enough. I've always wanted to go to Disneyland, like the actual Disneyland. I've only been to Florida.
Florida's better.
It is, yeah. The castle
True.
here is very disappointing after you've seen the Disney
Yeah,
World.
there's
Well, I
like,
can
there's, it's a lot larger in Florida. I promise
I
you.
just don't know how they can top the rides they have down there because they have some fucking incredible rides in Florida.
Not really.
The Avatar, the Flight of Passage ride is great. Rising
Mm.
Resistance, well, that's the same at both places. I love that thing. And the Guardians coaster is the best coaster I've ever been on.
You went on the Guardians coaster?
Yep.
You didn't tell me you were here and you went on the Guardians coaster?
No, Florida.
Oh, in Florida.
But the Guardians coaster isn't in Disneyland. That's a
Yeah,
Disney
okay.
ride.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, you. Yeah, no, you can't. I genuinely don't think you can beat Florida Disney
It is what they've done is incredible. And
unless you take the Taiwan one. Taiwan one might be better.
Is the Taiwan one like a
no,
real
no,
licensed
it's-
one though?
Tokyo Disney Sea is the one that's considered the best park in the world of all the Disney ones.
Disney Sea?
Tokyo Disney Sea. It's a.
Is there like a bee park?
Just Google it up. Just Google it. You're on Google.
True. Disney bee.
Sea.
Well, I want to
Sea.
see if there's a bee one.
No, so they have Tokyo Disneyland and then Disney. Sea.
Oh, sea.
Yeah, it's supposed to be themed like a volcanic island. It's pretty fucking sick.
I see what you mean. Ah, that's kind of small though.
It's well, it's Tokyo. It's hard to get the land. But it's like that park was not funded by Disney.
Yeah, they built it
From the-
themselves, right?
No, from the way I understand it, it's that Disney owns the land, but there's a local investor that puts like pretty much all the money in. So rather than at one of the Florida parks or Disneyland where it's okay, we can build this ride, but we have X budget that's limited on it.
Mm-hmm.
Or we
what
have
do you feel?
Oh yeah, or we have these two. Oh, we have X project and Y project, or for example, at Animal Kingdom in Florida, the Dragon roller coaster or Dino Land. They chose Dino Land over that because they didn't have the budget for both. Versus at Tokyo Disney Sea, they had the budget because they didn't pay for it. The whatever investment company did, I can't think of the name of it. Some of the stuff with Disney I always thought was interesting. I know probably way too much about the history of it and stuff just because I think it's interesting.
I mean, Disney is pretty cool. Especially, you know what? If you like the history of it, I would recommend going to Disneyland because you can like really see like all the like automotive.
Well, that's where I want to.
Automotive, what is it? Propaganda at the resort.
Well, I more want to because I want to be like, oh, they have the original Haunted Mansion and the better version of Pirates and all that stuff.
I see. Is the Disneyland one better than the Disney World one?
The Disneyland one has, when it comes to specific stuff, it's better, but overall Florida. That's because Disneyland, it's what, a 2-day thing at the most, one per park. Versus Florida, it's if you do 1 day per park, you're not getting a full experience.
Well, I guess I'm trying to say for like the Pirates one in particular. Yeah, I guess just because it's the original, it's not super Pirates of the Caribbean themed. It's just more regular.
Well, no, it's different because like what is it? It's considered to be better because it has a bunch of stuff the Florida one doesn't. Was also some slight budget issues with the Florida one.
Makes sense. Huh.
The Haunted Mansion one's considered better because the Haunted Mansion one in Florida was. I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact specific thing with it, but there's a couple other reasons that online it's considered to be better in Disneyland.
The Disney World, yeah, the Disney World one is totally, like, looks totally movie-based. I know that isn't what you were talking about, but it definitely seems post-movie.
They redid it all, if I remember correctly, after the movie came out.
Oh, I see. I mean, they redid it at Disneyland, too, but all they did was they put Jack Sparrow in. And
Yeah. Well, they redid a lot of the outside in Florida.
yeah.
Some of the theming that they've done there is just straight impressive.
I kind of like how it looks more like the movie in Florida, though, I gotta say. But yeah. So I have one more thing I want to show you guys, just to end it off.
The jetpack races.
The jetpack
Yes.
races.
I've been thinking about this so
Watch this live.
You saw this in Austria?
I watched it. Yeah, this was hype for the F1 race. I was watching it.
Oh, it was?
That's the Austria ring. They did it as a pre-race thing. All the orange in the crowds from Max Verstappen.
Do you think this will be its own like standalone sport one day?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It probably will, but it'll be more of a smaller one, like plane races, where plane races have a fan
Or like
base, but it's
monster truck derbies.
yeah, where they have a fan base, but it's not internationally known.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure
feel like
the
it-
mindset right now is to
It could be super sick.
You can hear the caster say she's having a laugh watching it. Like,
I mean, it looks. I'll be honest, it looks really fun.
it does look really fun. It does look cool to watch, but I can only imagine how slow it is.
Oh,
Oh, incredibly so. Well, I think it's more of a confidence thing as well as just the technology behind it.
That's how we'll do next year.
'Cause that stuff is very much new, like newer.
Oh yeah, so
So,
they're trying
it's
to
probably
figure out
stuff-
how to maneuver it better.
Yeah.
But-
Well, they're trying to figure out how to streamline the design, make it more maneuverable, and probably make it go faster. This is probably a thing if they're told they're not allowed to go faster than this by the designers.
honestly though, I feel like there's better applications for it than racing.
Oh, totally.
100%.
But racing it's fun, especially in a thing like this where it's just a hype thing. Like, who cares? But like on a professional sense, racing, it's entertaining, and plus if you have different companies running different things it pushes the technology forward massively. Like if you have two teams of two different companies, then it pushes the technology forward. Especially for something like a jetpack where it's not military. Well, it can be military, but it's not going to be mainly used for the military.
I mean, in the interim, I think like racing works, but those like Quidditch games that like people play where they're just running around on brooms. Imagine if they could
Yeah.
actually fly around.
Oh my god.
Quidditch
I don't
would
think
be
you would-
so sick. It would be
Quidditch,
awesome.
I don't think you're going to see Quidditch play just because of the amount of control required.
Yeah, that won't happen for like another 200 years probably.
200
Well, like the
years?
problem is the biggest
You
issue
gotta
with the
you gotta label that to the actual thing you're sitting on
yeah.
versus where they're being harnessed in and holding like Iron Man gloves.
Well, the difference is as well as you have to, because unlike when you're doing Quidditch where you're sitting on a platform,
Mm.
you are, physically flying. You are actually doing this stuff. It's not as simple as, oh, I can sit on this thing and go. You have to worry about center of balance. That was one of the big issues, was building thrusters that were small enough but could provide enough power for your hands.
Well, yeah, but you're gonna need that no matter what, even if the technology progresses.
But I mean, for example, like if you have something you're sitting on,
Mm.
it's a lot easier to control center of mass. The reason why is because the primary thrust on this is coming from, their back.
Mm.
So that's a major center of mass issue, versus if you have not a broom, but if there's a platform or something they can play on, like a drone or whatever, like a scaled up drone, it's a lot easier. You can build a lot. It's a lot easier to make something that lifts something up have a wide center of mass availability versus a jetpack like that. It's a very narrow margin.
I guess so, but you could just rework Quidditch. Like, maybe you, instead of like having to grab the ball with your hands, right? Since your hands are occupied, you hit it with your chest.
Probably. I don't think Quidditch would become popular because you have the golden fucking snitch to get out of it really fast.
All right, yeah, but take that out. The golden snitch is such a stupid thing anyway.
It really. Oh, you're watching
agree with
incredible.
that.
You're watching an incredible game. It's day 2 and it's 2:06 to 2:08. Oh shit! This guy just caught the snitch. Game over.
Right, and it happened like way off somewhere.
Oh yeah.
But fuck
Oh, yeah.
nowhere.
30 fucking kilometers away. Oh, this guy just does that.
And
Or you could have an absolute blowout. It's
There's no
200.
offsides
Yeah,
called.
it's-
He picked it up right next to the goalie. Like,
it just goes,
Well, I'm saying like, oh, it's 200 to nothing, like a complete blowout. No one on the one team's there yet, and then their seeker catches it. Cool, congrats, you still fucking you win, even though you scored nothing.
yeah, it's just, especially
the
because
whole idea is just stupid.
especially
It
because
really is.
canonically they never get it anyway. So like being a seeker is probably the like most low pressure position in the game.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I'm assuming it's high pressure to find the damn thing, but also like not really.
No one expects
It's
you to.
it's either there's either the most pressure on the seeker or the least.
They probably give it to the least, like, the least prospective player. The person that's going to do the least. You know what? Hey, you're a seeker.
Oh yeah, that's why they gave it to Harry.
If you're
Right?
being
Exactly. It's the same reason they give it to Harry in the movies and the
being
book.
strategic, you give it to the guy who has the best eyesight because it's a tiny fucking thing and probably the best reflexes.
Well, Harry
That's who
did
you
not
give
have
the
the
secret
best
job to.
eyesight.
Yeah,
I know, that's
literally
why I
for,
always,
like,
as a kid, I thought it was stupid
Oh,
when I first watched the movie that he was picked for Seeker. Because I'm like, okay, is he talented at catching? Yes. Why the fuck is he trying to find a little
You have
dot
to
in the
understand
glasses?
that J.K. Rowling is one of the stupidest people on the fucking planet.
Oh, no, I completely understand that.
Did she write some of the most sold books ever? Yes. But she is so fucking dumb.
Well, what's the
It's-
one? I found a video on Instagram.
Ridiculous.
I found a video on Instagram where it's like talks about a bunch of the other shit that she just references with her characters that's kind of controversial.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Where
what's
she's
the
Just
one guy,
making
the one,
revisions years later.
what is it? The one ginger Irish student. What's the line from the first one? Well, my mom's a witch, my dad's a muggle. Imagine the shock on his face when they found out. That's definitely Protestant and Catholicism, and he's Irish. So what's the one thing the kid always does to everything? Blows it up. When was that book written? When the IRA was blowing up shit. Like, there's a bunch of shit like that in the books that is not too hard to dig into, but you're also like, what the fuck?
I'm not talking about her being right. I'm talking about her literally just writing shit that is just the stupidest thing ever.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'm reading like a list right now. Wizards vanish their waste. So apparently, for some reason, people were asking how people like wizards got rid of their shit, before plumbing, and apparently they could just cast it away, which like makes no sense because
It's a
like
Giga Chad move.
yeah, but like they went on to build bathrooms later. Like we see bathrooms. Why would they go through the effort of installing plumbing if they could just zap it away?
Well, the curse, well, like, it's probably not that. It'd probably be a harder curse like teleportation or something. And if it's easier to just build a bathroom for a mass scale than to teach everyone how to use a super complicated curse, just build the bathroom.
I
Or
suppose.
a super complicated spell, build the bathroom, it's easier.
Hagrid doesn't have a Patronus. Okay.
You're looking at movie issues.
Yeah, the books are just not much better.
The books are way worse.
What are the?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the
This
movies.
says
If they're on,
J.K.
I'll watch them.
Rowling's biggest Harry Potter revelation since finishing the books. I think they're just
Mhm.
using pictures from the movies. I think they're about the books.
Did you know that J.K. Rowling described in her Twitter post, like 2 years later, after the final movie released, that Hermione Granger is black.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yep.
Hermione. How the fuck do you spell? Oh yeah, Hermione.
Age.
Fuck.
Hermes.
Hermione
Ione.
is black. All right, let's take a look at this. Oh wow, she is.
Supposedly. Now this is after she wrote all of her books and also directed the movies.
So she had a
She didn't
choice in
direct
the
the
movies.
movies. She had a heavy influence.
She had a director's credit on them.
I thought she had a writer's credit, not director's credit.
She had both.
Also, doesn't Hermione appear on some covers of the books, or no? Is it just Harry
Yep.
every time? Yeah.
Actually, no, I don't think she does.
Let me see.
Actually,
I know she that what is it? Fuck. We're talking about two completely different things.
but she is described in the books as pale complexion, bright hair, with freckles.
Yeah, no, she's right there. She's right there in Prisoner of Azkaban, isn't she?
With the red hair? Yep.
Yeah, that's her. How is she gonna renege on that? It's on the front cover of the fucking book.
No clue. J.K. Rowling is like,
She's the worst writer ever existed.
yeah.
I will never not claim that. She's the worst writer in existence.
The books, yeah.
She wrote horrible children's books that just had no storyline and just jumped across stories from chapter to chapter. Incomprehensible, and just taught children to be ADHD. And then also just reneged everything she wrote in the books on her Twitter.
How do you feel about the movies? Do you think the movies were better written?
I've never seen them.
Never seen them?
They're
No.
better written than the books from, I'd say, personal.
I refuse to watch them.
I like the movies a lot.
I just don't want to give J.K. Rowling the credit that she deserves. I refuse to watch them. And I also hate Daniel Radcliffe.
You hate Daniel Radcliffe.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I
I
just
hate-
think he's really boring, and I think he's just the most bland actor on the planet.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't want to see him act for like 16 hours.
I can't say
That's
you're
fair.
wrong. But I enjoyed the movies. I don't know. They casted him as a kid.
He good for him that he
He
worked
made a
this
shitload of
role
money.
for that much. Like I it doesn't mean I don't respect him. I just think he's a bad actor.
Fair
I
enough.
respect the shit out of the fact that he worked this whole fucking like 7 storyline movie series that
It
got
took
a
him
part
8
2
years
on the
to film,
7th
yeah.
book.
It was 8 years of filming, if I remember correctly.
I think it was like 10 years of filming.
Oh yeah, because they didn't shoot they shot the first 2 a year apart, and then it was like a 2-year break, and then the next like 3, and then they shot the last 3 pretty much back to back.
But also, notably, he's one of the worst celebrities to ever talk to because he's an asshole and he's conceited, and he will just sit there and yell at you.
Not as bad as Shia LaBeouf used to be. He got pretty bad.
Well, Shia LaBeouf was doing some shit.
Oh yeah, we all know he was doing some shit.
Is he better now? He seems to be on like a whole new thing every day.
Who, Daniel Radcliffe or Shia LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf, like, wasn't
I
he
think
like a
Shia LaBeouf
hardcore
is-
Christian for a bit? Is he still that? He was doing like
I
a
just
church
know he
movie.
did some crazy shit. Like he fucking pulled a tooth out for what was the movie? For Fury, because his character didn't have a tooth, rather than just then be like, oh yeah, we can just do this. No, he fucking yanked his own tooth out.
That's kind of badass. I'm not gonna lie. Like, talk about
Yeah,
commitment.
I think it would be if he was known as a method actor. But he's not, and it just makes him look like a crazy person.
Yeah, I guess so. He wanted to try being a method actor.
And you know what? Maybe he is. Maybe we're all blind to that, but the same like judgment still stands. Like, why would you do that?
Oh, 100%.
True.
What was he method acting in Transformers?
You know what's kind of like funny is like Jared Leto.
To be fair, I do like the new Transformers movie. I mean, not the new one. I do like the first Transformers.
The first few are honestly kind of the best.
The first one's good. The second one I don't like as much. The third one I liked, and then the fourth I didn't.
I don't remember the fourth.
And I haven't seen the two new. The fourth was the one with Mark Wahlberg.
You
and then
just
I
say,
haven't seen the two new ones.
Yeah, those were just like when they recasted to Mark Wahlberg. Whatever. There's 9 of them, dude. Ugh.
It's what?
There's 9 Transformers movies.
Bullshit. 1, 2, 3, all was Shia. Then 4 was Mark Wahlberg. No, there's 6,
there's
and then
7.
there's 3 animated.
It's 7.
Which one did I miss? The one in Tokyo?
You missed Bumblebee.
Oh,
They
if
made
you
a whole
count
movie
Bumblebee.
about Bumblebee.
And you missed, I guess, The Last Night, the Optimus Prime solo movie.
That was a thing?
Yep.
I had no clue.
Well, guys, it's been about an hour, 16 minutes. I think we should call it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to the Oddcast. Have a good night.